there, everyone. How is it going? This is KZFR's Riding on Air. Riding on Air is made possible by the generous contributions of KZFR supporters and by AgMart Gardening Supply Center, offering a complete line of hydroponic and organic gardening supplies for all-season indoor and outdoor growing needs. AgMart is now open 7 days a week at 194 East 17th Street in Chico between Park and Locust Avenue. The telephone number is 342-MART. How's it going, guys? How's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully well. I actually was going to pause there and wait for a response, and then I realized I'm on radio. It doesn't work that way. I have with me tonight my friend Hannah, co-hosting. Hi. How's it going?
Good. You?
Pretty good, pretty good. I might have had a little bit too much tea and caffeine tonight, so...
All mine already wore off, so...
Oh, all right.
You're one step ahead of me.
We'll balance out perfectly then, I think. Okay, cool. Well, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sure they've been doing it all day today is the fundraiser, fundraiser for KZFR, which is awesome. The least I can say. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to volunteer yet, but I'm going to remedy that pretty soon. There are phone lines open, and I just wanted to say a quick kind of personal statement from me from, I guess, my perspective on the show, because this has been awesome for me. I moved up here 2 years ago and was trying to get involved in the community and was looking for a way that would be best and would suit me. And I'm a big fan of Frasier, have always been for my entire life, which is, for those of you who don't know, an old TV series that dealt with a psychologist that was on radio, basically.
I don't think I've ever seen it. You've told me about it.
That's it. She has to get off the show. Just leave now. It's a great show, and it's influenced my life pretty heavily as far as my perspective into radio goes. But anyways, enough about me. When I came up here, I found out that there was a local community radio station called the KZFR that was locally funded, and all of the programmers were volunteers. These people, like me, are not getting paid. We do this because we like it. And the content is motivated by them. They get to choose what is said, what is directed, what is highlighted, all this stuff. And the community here is vibrant and just fantastic. I have not met anyone in here that I've been frustrated with at all. All the people I've met, which is weird and cliche to say that, but everyone I've met here has been just a phenomenal human being. And that is thanks to all the people who support us, which is fantastic. If you want to call in and support, we really would appreciate that. It's 895-0131. That's KZFR, 895-0131. And as I said, you guys support us and keep us going. This is the first day of the pledge drive, and we're starting off pretty strong. I think we're doing pretty well out there. But please do call in and support. Throughout the episode tonight, I will be reminding the number and stuff, and maybe relating small stories on how this radio station has made me a better person, which actually I would argue it has. We'll get to that story later. But anyways, this is Riding on Air, and I'm Kevin. And this show is designed to be a platform or an area for anyone who does writing. So poetry, flash fiction, short stories, really anything that can kind of fit within a 30-minute time sphere, because that's all I have tonight, is what this show is for. So if you submit pieces or you write pieces and you want to submit, you can do so at write.onair@gmail.com, WRITE.onair@gmail.com. We have a Facebook page, Writing on Air, YouTube channel that I upload the stuff usually within a day or two, or sometimes the same night after the show is aired, so you can catch it on there too. You can catch it online. There's all sorts of cool opportunities for it, and you guys make my show. And you guys also make the entire radio station. If you're a writer, I highly recommend submitting something. Just do it. Don't second guess yourself. All your work is great. Just submit. Yeah. Get your name out there. As I nudge her, because she's been on the show a few times, which has been awesome. Actually, I think the last 2 shows were comprised of a lot of your stuff. I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So thanks. You're finally on. We need to get you on when you can be the one reading your pieces. I've done that once or twice. We need at least like 20 more times. So you need to keep submitting stuff. I'll look her in the eyes right now and tell her that. But I'll work on it. Thanks. Go home and write some more. Perfect. Just for you. Yes, I appreciate that. Will be especially tailor-made for KZFR Writing on Air. Well, so the way this works is we kind of jump into a piece, we read it, we discuss a little bit, and then move on to the next one, and then that's kind of my show. So enjoy the half hour that I'm here, and we'll go ahead and get into it. This first piece, actually all the pieces tonight, are written by a friend of mine, A.E. Kellogg. She has submitted many pieces. Arguably, she's been a huge supporter of the show as far as the literature goes and just being a fan and stuff. And she is a phenomenal writer. And this first piece that we're going to read is called These Are My Stories, or These Are the Stories My Grandfather Has Told Me. And I briefly skimmed over it before this. The way it works is I usually like to read it cold, so I'm feeling the same things the listener is feeling, and I can discuss the same things. So we'll get right into it. This is going to be a great piece. More than 3 times each so far. 1. When I moved to Cedar Rapids, I got a job right away, which was fortunate because I had a wife and kids on the way. My grandmother interjects. I was out to here with Pam, and that job was at Square D. We did electrical testing. They taught me everything I needed to know on that job, and I got 45 years there, and eventually I became lab manager. And once in a while, I got to make fireballs, and one time one blew out of the side of the wall, but that one wasn't my fault. The building's still there. It's by the side of the interstate. I forgot which one. 2. What state are you from? Do you know Pam? Pam is my aunt. We stopped at her house on the way up here. Oh, yes. I asked you that already. 3. See this watch? It's a cheap watch, but it tells good time. I angle it to face California each night, but I don't think it can reach the signals from way out there. Here's the hook I hang it up on. 4. You had a long drive to get here. Once I flew from here to Florida, I think. I was the co-pilot, but the pilot was so busy playing with instruments that I flew the plane. It was all the way from here to Florida. And when we got there, I said, okay, now you land. Because I wasn't authorized to land the plane. But I got us there all right. I got us there. 5. What state are you from? You don't have much testing out in California, do you? There's a nuclear plant just down the road a little here. And I have an arrangement with a girl. I should say a lady. And I do testing, and I inject little problems into their drills, make-believe problems, shake up their routine. All make-believe, of course. I volunteer. 6. He's only told me once so far about the house floating down the river with people on the roof while he took a photo from above. He was in Civil Air Patrol. Somehow I never knew. 7. What state are you all from again? That was, these are the stories my grandfather has told me. Man, I don't think I did that justice as well as the dialogue was needed, but hopefully you guys are able to kind of follow along with that. It's broken up into 6 parts, Roman numerals dividing them, and it's just a discussion of some talks that she's had with her grandfather. And there's so much you can pull out from this. There's repeat questions, which is obviously showing possibly a dementia or something that's, or just age, really. Mm-hmm. That could be it too. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not that drastic, but stuff like that. And the ending is so just kind of, what state are you all from again? The same question is there again. There's like a cycle there. It's just, it's consistent. But there's also so much just life that's packed into this. I don't know, my grandparents, sometimes when I'll go talk to them, they're great conversationalists, but sometimes as they speak, because they've lived so long, the smaller details start to kind of really add up in the conversation. Mm-hmm. And so we get this piece too, which has like, when I moved from Cedar Rapids, I got a job right away, which is fortunate because I had a wife and kids on the way. My grandmother interjects. I was out to here with Pam, and it just goes on and on like that.
Grandparents have great stories, and I think we should all take more time to listen and learn about their lives and what they've done.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a great piece, and I would agree that it does seem like repeat questions, whether it's age or dementia, but there's definitely some of that there. And I mean, my grandfather has dementia, so I've had experience with those repeat questions, and they still have great stories, and you can still have great conversations, but you'll sometimes have the same great conversations multiple times within the same day.
Over and over. Oh, man. This piece just gives such a good, I don't know, litmus of just that kind of, when I read it, I was thinking of all the times I'd talked to my grandparents, obviously, and I got kind of, it invoked smells and sights and sounds and feelings that I had just from conversations.
And just memories of things that you've talked to your grandparents about, and yeah, there's so much that it can take you back to.
Yeah. I love writing. That's one thing these things do. Even if it's very specific like this, the relatability is kind of infinite. There's things you can pull out from it. The interpretations always change. This is why I like having the authors on the show too, so that we can pin down exactly what they meant, because sometimes I'll go off on huge tangents.
Well, I mean, writing is just so open. I mean, you can really interpret it any way most of the time. It's up to the reader. And it's part of the reason why it's my favorite form of art, because you can make it whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so even if it means something completely different to the author, it can still be very relatable to someone who thinks of it in a completely different manner.
Right.
And so it just covers a large base of audience, and it's great.
Words are cool.
They are.
The best way to put that. Well, on a quick side note / tangent, I guess, someone called, and I might have missed their phone call. I do apologize. If you called for the fundraiser and stuff, or just to talk, feel free to call again. I kind of fumbled the phone there, and I think I hung up on you. So please call again. That's 895-0131. And if we don't get to it,
not technology.
Right? Yeah, I'm barely managing to keep this show together. So yeah, please do call again and support us. This is KZFR. It's our fundraiser week. 895-0131 is the phone call, and we do have people out there waiting to answer your phone, or answer their phone, I should say.
So please support the local radio station.
Yes.
It's a great group of people, and they try their best to put their work out there for Chico to listen to, and it's great. So please support them and make this continue to be possible.
Yeah. And that's not even paying her. She said that on her own. I in no way held anything that was violent towards her to say that. I promise.
You just introduced me to the show.
That's true. That's true. Okay, well, we'll get into the next one. This is again by A.E. Kellogg, and it's called Dizziness. I don't think there was any other notes on this one. Just making sure. Yeah, I don't see them, so we'll get right into it. Dizziness. 1. You walk me from trash can to trash can, pull me the last few feet when my eyes close, and I can't make it anymore. You hold me in a restroom stall, run your hand over my shivering skin as I grumble about unfairness and having plans. You envelop me on a Sears display couch, and love my sickness away, and love me through the waves of nausea, and love me at my worst. 2. You hold me in a changing room, pull me against you as voices sound too loud outside. Play with my breathing in the quiet. You search out every little gasp. You crush me against you as I fall sideways. You hold me fast with smiles and kind words as my feet lift off the ground. 3. You worry about me at 1 a.m., but I tell you I'm busy writing poetry. This is an eyes falling shut poem. This is a worth the headache poem. This is a poem composed on borrowed time. I'm wobbling into you and your words and making promises I'll collapse before I keep.
Another great piece.
Yeah, Dizziness. Oh man, I even got the feeling of like the spiraling that was kind of going on there.
It sounds almost like anxiety attacks.
It does, yeah.
Those aren't fun things to try to work through, especially when you're in a public place. And so this kind of brings that to a reality, something that we don't necessarily see, but it's an everyday thing for some people.
No, exactly. You hold me in a changing room, pull me against you as voices sound too loud outside. There's obviously, I think, some love dynamics going on here, and love my sickness away, love me through the waves of nausea, as in someone, I'm assuming it's a someone, because you hold me, that's repeated a lot. You hold me, you worry about me, you hold me, you crush me, you hold me. That's repeated often throughout this poem, so I'm assuming it's another person who is providing some stability while they're being dizzy, while they're having those anxiety attacks, which is really a beautiful thing. Sometimes it gets, the best way to stop dizziness from happening, I guess, is the best way to put this, is to grab onto something stationary, whether that be a table or a person. And
People can make great anchors sometimes.
They can.
We underestimate that.
Emotionally and physically, actually.
Yes.
Which is the fun part, I guess. It could be the fun part, depending on what's going on. You worry about me at 1 a.m., but I tell you I'm busy writing poetry. Man, this just, I can feel this was written for someone, in my opinion. That's what I'm kind of getting this impression on. This was a...
Sounds like a thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for just being there for me and supporting me, even if you don't realize how much you're actually doing for me.
Which I feel is almost like the best kind of love. Like a thank you. It's not a neediness. It's not like this person obviously is having anxiety attacks or something, getting overwhelmed by something, it seems. Maybe not exactly anxiety attacks, but they're getting overwhelmed in some sense. And there isn't a neediness to this other person. This other person just happens to be there, and through us just loving them, and love me through the waves of nausea, and love me at my worst. That's love to me. At least that's what I idealize love as. I don't know if it always gets there, but that's...
I would agree with you.
Yeah, that's the best. This poem, actually, let me flip over here. This is a Worth the Headache poem. This is an Eyes Falling Shut poem. This is a poem composed on borrowed time. I'm wobbling into you and your words, and making promises I'll collapse before I keep. There's so much yearning in all that. I'm writing this for you. This is an Eyes Falling Shut, worth the headache. I'm falling asleep while I'm writing this, but I'm trying to stay awake. There's a headache that's developing because I've spent so much time I'm not eating or I'm not something. I'm trying my hardest. This is a poem composed on borrowed time. I should not be writing this right now. I should be doing something else, is what this is saying. I'm wobbling into you and your words. I'm writing about you. These words are for you.
It definitely sounds like that person is their anchor. And even if they're tired, they might not be able to sleep, and they just go right back to needing that person just to support them and care about them and hold them up, keep them steady.
Man, that's such a good piece. Both these pieces have been fantastic. Well, we'll get on to the third one because we don't have too much time left. What's the title of that one?
Simile 130.
Okay, Simile 130, 130. I have to ask her. I feel bad I didn't ask her earlier what the 130 is. Maybe she's written 130 simile poems or something, which would
be interesting. I want to know now.
Yeah, I'll have to ask next time, see if I can clarify that next show.
This is by the same author, right?
Yes, yeah. These are all three by the same author. Let me see that one real quick. Just want to make sure I didn't write any notes on it. We bring in all the papers in here to double check what's coming up next. So, in case I have anything on there. Oh, I do have a phone number on there, 895-0131, which happens to be KZFR. If you want to call and support us and support the show,
please donate.
Please donate. Please call. Please help us out, because you guys keep this going. If you like this type of content, if you like anything else you've heard on here, you guys are the one who support us and keep us. Allow us to have the space to do this.
This is a community-run radio station, so continue to make this possible and donate.
And with that, we'll get into the next piece.
My muse's eyes are something like the sun, but summer days have a habit of burning me red. Trees wilt when motionless light presses down, crumpled in waste baskets of bad drafts unread. She's arranged death flowers palely white, unsettling chills against tear-stained cheeks. Hot and cold changes places with dark and bright. Flames should warm, not burn for weeks. I used to hate the coastline, prideful to know that thunder is a too common sound. Now to cloudy gray horizons I'll go, to breathe ocean wind as my feet on salt ground. I hate triangles, you binaries. Let us both spare each other from poems full of false compare. I really love her work.
Yeah.
I don't think I've read one of her pieces that I haven't liked yet.
I'm getting so many senses from that. Just, the ocean air. Let me grab this piece here real quick. I used to hate the coastline, prideful to know that thunder is the too common sound. Now to cloudy gray horizons I'll go, to breathe ocean wind with my feet on salt ground. Oh my gosh.
It just creates so many mental images, like the unread drafts in the wastebasket just crumpled, and it's almost like someone just needs an escape.
Yeah.
Like life might just be a little overwhelming, and no matter what they're writing, they don't like it, so it's all just being tossed away, crumpled and unread, and they just want to get away.
Yeah.
To where it's peaceful, the ocean wind, and
get away from the things that are known. She's arranged death flowers palely white, unsettling chills against tear-stained cheeks. Hot and cold changes places with dark and bright. Flame should warm, not burn for weeks. Oh, holy crud.
I love it.
Man. don't often just like to sit here and listen to it, but sometimes I feel like reading these things from any author really is kind of like a meal for me. It lets me kind of sit here and digest them, and I get so many feelings. It fills me up or empties me out, depending on the writing too. And that's not even a bad thing. It's not like it's draining. It's just it does certain things to you. There's definitely, oh man, I'm trying to pull some meaning out of this, but just
like the flames should warm, not burn. It could be talking about a person or just a passion. All suddenly it's just becoming too overwhelming for them, and that comforting warmth has suddenly turned to burning, and it's no longer able to be comforting.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable, and they just want it gone. Need a break from the heat.
Oh, the line to support that, I think, is trees wilt when motionless light presses down, crumpled in wastebaskets of bad drafts unread. So when something natural that should be given life is becoming an oppressor, and obviously the next sentence there is probably struggles with writing of something, obviously bad drafts unread. There's so much struggle to get these things out that everything is no longer seeming healthy.
No.
Wow.
Like maybe their emotions are just too much. They can't even form it into words to get it down on paper.
Yeah.
And it just seems like everything around them that should be comforting and helpful, it's all suddenly hurting. It's doing more harm than good.
Oh,
There's
man.
just so much about this piece that I like.
And it's interesting too, and maybe you have a take on this, but there's 4, I guess what you call stanzas. The first 3 are each with 4 lines, and they're the biggest pieces. And the last one is kind of indented and separate. And it says, I hate triangles, you binaries. Let us both spare each other from poems of false compare. Any thoughts on that?
I don't even know where to start.
I hate triangles, you binaries. There's such a difference there. Like, unless there's some connection I'm missing, that's the point, is that it's so wildly like, I'm just upset. Everything I don't know what I'm upset at. I hate triangles. That's what I'm feeling from it, at least. Let us both spare each other from poems full of false compare. Let's not be cliche. That's what I have. Let's be real, because I need to go away and go to the place where I can breathe ocean wind with my feet on solid ground and not have any judgment, any desire, anything that is too oppressive, too constrictive, to just let me not think for a while.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. There's too much aggression. There's too much just not, the word is not unreal, I would say, but there's too much unrealness, I guess. I don't know.
And maybe the comparing part, like maybe they're just feeling like they're having to compare themselves to everything around them, and everything has to be comparison, and it's just overwhelming.
Right, yeah. Oh, well, usually at the end of the show, and we're nearing it quick, we went a little bit longer reading these pieces because they're so good. What I like to do is kind of, I think in music terms it's called recapitulate. Take the same themes and kind of go over them again and see where there are common recurrences or where they're not, or just kind of revisit them. So the first one we had was, these are the stories my grandfather has told me. And it was kind of a picture of just some conversations with the grandfather.
It's like little snapshots of their relationship.
Yeah, which was beautiful. That was so good. And the second one was Dizziness, which feels kind of like in a sense, thank you note, a love poem, and not a clingy one in that sense either.
No.
Just kind of a objective, like, man, things are rough, but you've been there for me really a
like
lot.
That sudden realization of how much that person or thing has really done for you.
Yeah.
And you just want to put it into words how much they've done.
Love my sickness away, love me through the waves of nausea, me at my worst.
We all need someone like that in our lives.
Right, yeah. And Simile 130, which was kind of things are too much right now, I think. And everything that should be helpful. Was this the one that had the flames should burn?
Yes, I think so.
Hot and cold changes places with dark and bright. Flames should warm, not burn for weeks. It's become, I'm trying to figure out how to put this into words. Things have become too much for the person, I guess. as in sometimes they're overwhelmed, crumpled in wastebaskets of drafts unread. There's too much strain, there's too much stress to try and become natural, and things that are natural are no longer good for you. They're no longer working, so everything just seems wrong. I just need to get away. I hate triangles, you binaries. Let's not be cliche. Let us both spare each other from poems full of false compare.
It's like they just want to hit the reset button and start over. Find a new path to take and see where it takes them, because the one they're on isn't working for them anymore.
Yeah, and I'm sure she's going to call me after this and be like, Kevin, you were wrong on all of these things. What do you should stop doing radio. I'm sure that won't happen actually, but there have been a few times where she's called me up and been like, oh yeah, actually I was going this direction with it, but I didn't think about that way, which again, it was what we're stressing, like all of these pieces can go in many different ways. So if you want to be on the show and we want to get the root of what the piece was coming from, we can coordinate that. If you email me at write.onair@gmail.com, you can get in contact with me. I usually check that, I'd say, more than a couple times a week, easily.
I highly recommend sending things in. And if you don't want to add notes, sometimes it's fun just to see how your pieces are interpreted.
Yeah, use a fake name, anything.
Yeah. I mean, just do what you feel comfortable doing, but don't second guess yourself. If you want to send something in, do it. It's worth it.
It's a blast. Then you can say you've been on radio. I mean, I can say I've been on radio, and that's still kind of surreal to me. Which, speaking of radio, 895-0131, KZFR, you can call and support, because this is our weekish long fundraiser that we got going, because you guys are the one that keep this going. You guys have given me this opportunity to come on here and really just be involved in things that I enjoy doing, like reading and just being part of this.
Another thing that you shouldn't second guess, just call and support.
Yes.
Just do it. Don't second guess yourself.
Listen to her. I'm going to have you on the show more often. This is great, Hannah. I appreciate this. Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of all I got going for tonight. It's been a great night, and I hope you guys have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. This is Writing on Air, and Writing on Air is made possible by the generous contributions of KZFR supporters and by Harrison Daily Wright Accountancy Corporation in Chico. Harrison Daily Wright provides certified public accountants specializing in accounting and bookkeeping services, auditing, tax prep and planning, management support, services for nonprofit organizations, and more. To reach Harrison Daily Wright, call 895-1209. Have a good night, everyone.